All right, we are live. Hopefully, maybe Courtney can tell us here in a second. It's,
Hey. See if it's live.
I know, I just don't want you to understand.
Sorry, crazy day.
What do you got, 30-minute comment?
No? Okay. We're live.
Is it good? Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
Well, sorry for the technical difficulties. We are live now. We thought we were earlier and we weren't, so we are now. We're short on time. Quick comments, Kathy, previous week.
No, I had a couple functions that I went to this past few days. I went to the Miss America was here. I wish I would have taken my granddaughter. Was here on Wednesday evening and got to go down and meet her at that time. And then attended the Mac breakfast on Thursday and she was there and spoke as well. And then that evening we had the emergency management training, which was good. I still think we need to probably go through that because it did say what the purpose of it was, but it didn't necessarily specify the people with what the roles may be. And I'm not sure with those people that are put in place that they've been visited with about what exactly their roles are, so I know that COOP book, wherever it may be, is what we used to use and go by, and that's what he referred to, so I didn't know if the county had went through that and updated and stuff, because that was a long time ago that happened, but anyway, so I just wasn't unsure of the protocol that happens. I mean, I do, but I don't, exactly what my role is.
So I took it, well, I always took it this way. The county is ultimately responsible.
They are, and
Well,
I
it
took
depends
it.
on what kind of disaster.
Sure.
I mean, the disaster that they had with the water, when the water went out, Geary was there to support now if it's tornado, then I believe, and then that, it just depends on what kind of
Yeah.
disaster.
I agree.
I mean, because the people who are ultimately responsible for the area are the ones, that's why the state or the federal do not come in and take
Right.
charge.
The incident command.
Is whoever's the best person qualified for that position, to serve, so yeah. No,
And see, I
definitely.
took it that Geary was always that person that they were establishing that, but that just needs to be defined. But anyway, we don't need to hash that out, that he needs to visit with us about that. Anyway, the emergency management training was good. And then on Friday night, went to the museum, murder mystery, and I've attended that every year since they've had it, and it just continues to be better each year. But that was a fun event. And I was glad I was able to go to some of those things without the weather stopping me from doing anything. So that's really all I did.
Trish?
Well, last Monday I went to the reception for the Chief of Staff of the Army, General George. It was at General Rome's house, and that was really interesting. He was very pleasant to speak with, and talked about, the uniqueness of Fort Riley and how it is a great place to train, and talked about shoring up more training, the availability of bringing more training to Fort Riley, which I thought was really good. They talked about NTC and how all the training went well, and that our troops are prepared for anything that comes our way. So that makes, feel safe being in America with all the craziness going on. So, definitely they need to be prepared for that. I attended Pawnee Mental Health board meeting. They are, dealing with some stuff. They did get some grants to assist them with their mission. of course, everybody, talks about increase in all the, services and their increase and our increase. And so just something we need to be cognizant of when we go to do budget. Also attended with Main Street, the USDA Kitchen Advisory Workshop. They're looking to see if they did a feasibility study on whether a incubator kitchen would work here, and it would, if ran correctly. And so they just went over three different possibilities of things that we could do. Not only have an incubator kitchen, but also have like office space to rent out and just different things. It's in the preliminary stages, so nothing's set in stone, but I think it's great to have those kind of things that we can bring to the community. So I think Main Street has done a wonderful job with that. Attended the Correction Advisory Board meeting, was elected the chairman. I was pretty much doing that because Cecil was the chairman and he had to resign, so they just kept me on. Chris Ann talked about her challenges as far as getting funding from the state and how they're gonna try to relook at the funding formula, and she'll talk about that when she comes in to do her update. But she's had several challenges as far as the legislators not understanding that she is totally different from court services. Court services has one mission, and corrections advisory or corrections has their own mission. So, just keep talking to the legislators and to the community members and the county as far as what's going on with that. So, I brought up during, before we were having technical difficulties, the appraiser had brought in some, talked about the surveys that went out. And so I just brought up, and we need to look at that, and maybe, I don't know who we could get to get that on the website, and how the people will be able to, if it's something they can just email it to us. But 48% of the residents here are rentals, and so they will not get that survey as far as the taxpayer. They'll go to the owner. So I think we need to look at something on that. And so anyway, I went to the disaster training and as well as the MAC breakfast and met Miss America, and she is a interesting young lady. Very, she in her short time has done a lot of accomplishments for somebody as young, and it's great to see the young people taking leadership roles and getting out there and trying to inspire other young people to serve in the community or serve in the military, which is needed. So. I did talk to Dave Walker, and he brought up are we gonna do the quarry thing? I know you spoke about it.
Well, and I don't know where that letter is. I passed it around and I don't know where it ended up. Do you have it, Betsy? No.
I didn't think I did, but I can go back and check my file and see.
Okay. It was in an envelope and it was on my desk and I passed it on.
Okay.
So I don't know where it is now. It's not back on my desk. And I think that, and if I recall, in the letter, it said 90-day response. So, yeah, we need to get the bond. However, having said that,
I
that's,
thought our response was that he should go and make his application if he wanted to pursue that.
right.
Did he
That's-
ever get that though?
And as far as I know, and then of course he has to go through the MPC to get a conditional use. Of course, some of it involves public works. I mean, what's now Jeremy's take on it? So there's a lot of moving parts, in my opinion, to this.
That's,
So I don't know where the letter ended up. Is that it? Okay, well, I'll keep mine short for Crystal. Yeah, Miss America, I thought she's phenomenal. I was impressed that she went and talked to this high school here, or the high school in Manhattan, K-State. she really made her rounds, but, her whole desire is to serve, period, whatever capacity that is. So I thought her message was really good. The disaster training, I was pleased to see the turnout. I've been through them before, and there probably weren't even a fourth of that crowd. But in the past, they've been over the emergency management. And so I think Geary broadened the scope for everybody, and so well done. That's it. Crystal?
Good morning.
Good morning, Crystal Malchus, HR Director. Hopefully I'll be able to get you guys back on topic or back on track because this shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. So, one out of office notification. And then had the KAC board meeting last week. General overview of where we're at with the legislature, which most of you can catch up on if you just read the KAC comment. And I did share with them the citizen comment that we had here about whether KAC was actually for or against counties of our size. And they appreciated that I said that the meetings were open and they could watch any board meeting they wanted, and shared that sometimes people just hear KAC is against this, proposal or whatever, but they may not know the reason why. And sometimes KAC is against it, not because they don't support the standard of it, but because there's not enough in the bill or the resolution to explain how it's going to be paid for example. I guess it's a great idea. Let's have the county do that. Okay, well, how's the county supposed to pay for that? And that's the reason behind some of KAC's not supporting different things. It's not because they don't want to do it, but there's not enough information from the state as to how it would be paid for. And they don't want to say, yes, let's support this, and then have this wonderful thing that all counties are supposed to do now without any way to pay for it. So for anybody that has questions regarding that, they can contact the KAC at any time and ask for clarification on that. And that's all I have for today. Any questions?
Oh, wow. No executive session.
That's it. How you guys are back on?
Wow. Okay. Oh, Charles, before you start, NTC. So I was talking to Ben Van Cleve from Fort Riley. And with the snowstorm and everything, and he's kind of behind the scenes making sure that they get everything loaded and sent out there, and had a great conversation with him at the MAC breakfast. And he said, that was probably one of the best training exercises on our part to
Have
coordinate
to go
all
through that, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
he said it was invaluable. He said it was a pain, but they learned a lot,
mhm.
and still got it accomplished to get them out there.
Well, and that's one of the benefits of Fort Riley is because we have, so many ways to deploy.
Mhm.
And that being able to deploy fast and efficiently is a plus for Fort Riley.
Well, the rail system helps out because, I mean, they can go through bad weather.
Yeah.
What?
Push
Unlike
right
you.
on through, yeah, like a
Yeah.
plane or a car,
Yep.
yeah. Mhm.
With that, Charles,
Hi, Charles.
Hey, how's it going?
introduce yourself.
I'm Charles Martinez. I'm the director at the health department. So today, it's not my monthly brief. I'm just here to request a signature. It's to sign the letter of intent on our Opus grant. It's just saying that we're going to apply for it and we're going to request what we did last year.
Anybody have any questions about that?
I don't, it's kind of standard procedure.
Yeah, it's the same. The letter's the exact same as we put last year and the year before, so.
Well, I make a motion that we go ahead and move forward with that, putting in for that grant.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? And you might before we approve, you might tell the public what Opus is.
Okay, Opus is the Outreach, Prevention, and Early Intervention Services. It's a program, we have a case manager, and we have clients that will come in that are high risk, they'll come into WIC, and they get referred to the Opus program. If they've got children under 5 and they're at risk for being homeless or food insufficiency, things like that, our case manager will help guide them into, finding resources that'll help them out, developing a budget, and getting back on track. And it's a long-term solution. So our case manager will stay with them for a couple of years to make sure that they're on track.
Thank you.
It's been very successful. Most people that get on it will monitor them and follow them up through the couple years. And if they start getting off, we guide them back on. And it's usually good outcomes.
Okay, thanks. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Okay. Did you want me to leave this one here, or
Which one do we need to sign?
it's the same letter? It was in the packet.
Yeah, I know, but who,
Yeah.
you need to sign, oh, you have it?
Well, I have a copy of it.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
want me
can
to
get it
sign
from
this
Teresa later.
We can sign it.
we can sign
Oh,
it.
that sounds good to
So you
me.
don't have to come back.
Get it knocked out.
Do you have an original that you want me to sign?
It doesn't matter.
Do you need a copy?
Yeah.
Okay. There's yours and there's yours.
Yeah, that makes it easier. You
Yeah,
just turn it in
Charles.
today. Thanks.
Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Well, we have a little downtime. I can look at it real close, just something about a computer. Do you want to discuss that now?
So I got an email from Travis, or not Travis, Trent the other day that, I don't know how, I'm not computer literate, but apparently he's getting signals from my computer saying that something is shaky, like something's going on the motherboard or whatever. I know I've had a little bit of issue, but nothing major, but, he is recommending that I get a new computer. So he had talked to Tammy about it, and, I don't think I need what we have. I mean, I don't, it's a notebook, and I guess it turns into a iPad, and I never use it as that. So, Tammy went and got a couple of, estimates, and, I don't know, she sent the email, I have it right here. Anyway, one's almost $3,000, and I just need it for just basic, my email, looking up stuff, sending emails. I don't need anything fancy.
So is this something that, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Is it something that Trent recommended?
Yeah.
Well, he said that this, it's gonna go
And it
down.
shows where he recommended it. So originally I asked Next Tech because they said that you guys have never been part of the lease system. You guys have always bought the computers outright for the commission. So hers is from 2020, so it's 5 years old, and our leases are normally 5 years, so normally you would replace at 5 years. And so I said, can you give me a quote on what it would cost for them to replace it? And it was over $3,000. So I went online, looked for the same specs, and I found it and can get it for $1,300. I think it was $1,300 on there. So if we order it outright, my recommendation is to just order it and not go through Next Tech, because we don't need to spend those extra dollars just for them to do it for us.
Yeah, it was $2,900 if you go through Next Tech, and $1,300 if,
So if we order it, I can order it, and then they'll come in and set it up and put all the stuff, all the programming and
safeguards on it.
And then they'll wipe clean her old one.
Well, I mean, technically, we own it. So, I mean, yeah, if we're not gonna use it, there's no need
You
of,
take the hard drive out.
Yeah,
I mean, there's really.
well, if it's going bad, I mean, it's not like we can resell it.
No.
But we don't want it left with the stuff on it. so
Sure,
we're-
yeah, because there's
I'm
county
sure they
stuff
would.
on there, yeah.
I'll make sure that they swipe it and that the drive is clean.
After that, what we
Yes.
talked about.
Yeah, so they would do that. You guys, as the commissioners, have 5,000 in capital outlay line item, so the money is there to do it. We keep that in there so that, for these exact reasons.
And I don't mind waiting until, I might be out the computer for a couple weeks, but, I
Well,
guess he's gotten several messages that
well, if it-
saying that it's going down.
Yeah, if it's dying.
Yeah,
then-
yeah.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the purchase?
I so moved.
Am I imagining that it's for me, but it means computer stuff for work, so,
I'll second it.
okay, I'll stay out of it then.
All right. So you'll abstain from the vote?
Sure.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Aye. Motion carried. Chris will abstain.
I think, Keith, just after I started, we replaced yours, so yours should be around 2022, so we probably got
Is
a
that
couple of years left. Because
Ah,
something happened to yours after
Yeah.
I came and they got a new one for you, so,
yeah.
and I have no idea.
No, that Alex got one.
I was gonna say,
Alex got
Alex
one.
got a new
Alex
one.
got a new
Mine
one
is
since
still-
you
I don't
mentioned.
think yours is new. I
So
think-
they must have just fixed yours, because I
Yeah,
know
they-
you had trouble with it at some point.
I did. And then
I
Trent.
think, yeah, I think Trent got a hold of it, but yeah, Alex has died.
I had to give it to Trent and then he
Okay.
took it and, mine's still working. Now, every now and then I have to call Zach,
Yeah,
you know.
I've been having a little bit, but nothing major, but then well, Trent sent me the email and he was like, I need you to turn on your computer so I can access it. And I was like, how do I know this is really you? Emailing me. He said, well, you can call my office.
Well, we'll probably just want to keep on that, because probably yours will be the next one. that needs to be
Yeah.
replaced.
Probably.
So,
And I take it from the email a little bit I read this morning. This is kind of on sale. This
The
thing.
one, yeah, the one is, it's 55% off right now, so, and that's directly through Lenovo.
Yeah, we probably ought to keep it on mine. I remember when, Ben, he spilled coffee on his.
Oh, he did?
Uh,
Oh, is that why mine's 3 years newer?
Yeah,
Oh,
because we had to replace it.
I didn't realize they were that more expensive.
Keith,
No,
we
thanks
had-
for looking into that, Tammy.
Yeah, those bank sheets again, so I need you to sign one more time.
You got another one for him?
Yeah, we had to redo it.
Okay.
So I have 2 places for you to sign. Do you want me to bring it to you, or do you want to run over?
I can come in.
Okay.
She's ready to snap, this big roll call. Oh, it's gonna be an easy meeting, we just got
Good
one
morning,
person today.
yeah. How are you guys?
All right.
Gary, I might stop over. I need to get Travis, because I've got his money when he did my
Okay.
my driveway.
I'm gonna be in and out today.
Oh, okay. Do I?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got,
yeah, we've got the webinar on, we are gonna set up for the storm cloud tonight.
and that's at 7?
Yeah. We just, she's up getting some tests done up at the hospital right now, so I gotta run back up and get her.
You gonna drive up there?
Well, it was a stress test, so she didn't really want to, so I ran her up there. When we put the dye in and all that stuff. I will make sure he gets that, so.
Okay, tell him thank you. Yeah, if I do that again, I need his address, but I thought I was gonna see you,
Yeah,
Because-
well, we were,
be
so.
that next snow. And then, you guys, I didn't do it, so anyway,
Keith had to,
Your office still back in shape?
Not yet, we're getting the furniture now.
Keith had to go down the hall.
are we expecting any snow or anything?
We don't know till 1 o'clock what's gonna take place. It's at 1 today.
Well,
They
it
said
sounds so
near-
weird. First, we're supposed to have thunderstorms, or that's, and then the blizzard.
Near blizzard
Or
There's
near
conditions.
supposed to be
blizzard, yeah.
some strong
60
winds or
mile an hour
something
winds,
too,
so,
isn't there? Some
What'd you
strong
say?
wind first or
Oh,
something?
yeah, 60 mile an hour wind or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Stupid.
13 said,
Good grief.
Yeah, I know.
Is it dry enough or are we not, I'm not that I would burn anything, but is there a burn thing? They've been
day
talking about,
day by day,
is it still, but it's not with all the snow, it didn't.
still dry.
Still
We
dry,
had-
wow.
Saturday afternoon, we had, some local farmers out in these pasture welding,
Interesting.
didn't have any water with them. Started a fire out there,
Oh,
so
really? Wow.
took 3 trucks. Yeah, 3
Yeah.
trucks.
Oh,
up
really?
there, Yeah, so I mean, it looks,
The snow was good, it helped, but
if you get out there and you start moving the grass around, you're seeing all the stuff left over from last year.
Oh,
Once it gets into that,
I'm wanting to mow, I'm gonna mow one of these days. I almost did on Friday or Saturday, whatever it was for. I'm back to mowing.
ready?
Yep.
Okay.
You are. Introduce yourself.
I haven't talked to you guys for a couple months because last time we were supposed to meet, that Kurt was on his way to pick up the tank for the new truck and I was out on structural fire, so.
Sorry to interrupt, but introduce yourself.
Oh, Gary Burgess, Geary County Emergency Management, and Kurt Yonke, Assistant Emergency Management. We also run the rural fire department for the Geary County. So, year-to-date on fires, we're at 7. Same time last year was 7. In January, we had 3 fires, February 4 fires, including that structure fire out on 557 South. Back in January, towards the end of January, the Geary County Conservation District had their annual meeting and the Geary County Fire Department was awarded the Grassland Award for the amount of work we do with the farmers, helping them with their burns and that kind of stuff. And we have a nice sign down at the office. We're still trying to figure out where we're gonna put that at and stuff. And so that was a well-received recognition. Our auxiliary's been busy. They went and purchased first aid supplies. And then we bought the ammo boxes and all of our fire trucks will all have identical first aid kits now. they were able to buy all the supplies and they put them together. We've got them marked, and so they're going out to the trucks now. So if we get to a scene and we get somebody hurt, whether it be somebody at the place or a firefighter, we've got first aid kit. Most of our trucks carry AEDs already, so we can pretty well take care of minor injuries and stuff.
Gary, how many fire trucks do you have?
We'll end up with 19 when we get this other one built. At 19 trucks at 9 stations right now, so.
And how many new stations I mean, you've already done a couple of the new stations, and then, just tell Kathy that.
When we get these last 2 stations built and they added on to the other one, they will all be stations since, I've been actively involved in fire department since probably 2000. We've redone all the stations, so. And the last 2 that will not be the metal buildings like what we had way back that were built in the 60s, so 1960s, so.
But they will all house pumper trucks, right?
They will all have the capability, and then we'll have to look for pumper trucks for these 3 stations, or 2 stations, Clark, will be Davis Creek and Humboldt Creek. We're already starting to look, but I want to get the station built because we have no place to put those. But yeah, we'll be looking at that, and then that will lower the insurance rating for those people.
With the ISO.
ISO, we've been talking to them because we're due for a reevaluation. And we told them to hold off until we get these new stations built, because why have them come and do that and then have to come back out and reevaluate, and they were agreeable to that.
And that all coincides with the rural development line.
We're still working with them. I checked to see with everything going on in Washington DC of what rural development's doing. And the person I've been communicating with, I didn't get anything back. And then Thursday, I think it was Thursday, we got an email from somebody else saying that they've had some reorganization in their office. And somebody else was looking into it, was gonna be getting back to me. And Tammy's aware of that, and so is Mr. Cowan. Kevin Cowan's aware of that too. I make sure he's copied on everything I send out, so. So we're in a wait and see game, but they're reviewing our paperwork right now, so. She couldn't say whether it's gonna go forward or not. She says we're still operating like we had been, so.
So I know, we talked about, you working on a capital improvement plan for equipment and stuff. Probably need to get on that, because who knows what they're gonna do with these
I know,
grants
that's what-
stuff. Yeah,
that's
but I
what
mean,
we've
for
been
the
trying to work.
equipment and stuff, because, 'cause, I mean, we need to have something in place where we're not just waiting, if everything breaks down at once or stops at once. we
Right,
need to-
right, yeah, we're looking at
Yeah.
trying to put that together.
Yeah, awesome,
Put our list together, what we need and when we think
When
we
we might
need it,
need
that
it.
kind of stuff, yeah.
awesome, thank
So-
you.
Speaking of that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how is the equipment? I mean, everything's functional, everything's up.
Everything's up and running right now. We just got that new truck that we bought through Jim Clark to Matt Miller. Matt has all the major components that he needs to start building on it. We're still short a hose reel, and then we'll have to buy some plumbing parts. But he had already gotten the steel ordered in. He's got it in shop. So as quick as he gets time, he'll start building cabinets for it, then we'll get everything set. And probably rough estimate, month and a half. Should be ready.
So in time for dashboard.
Possibly, yeah. Cap Moyer was looking online and found a truck pretty much like what we're building, with the 6,500 body and all that. They were trying to sell it for $250,000. Yeah, Matt Miller thought that he hadn't bid near enough to build that after hearing that. So, yeah,
Because we'll end up building that truck for,
between 100 and 120 at the most, I'd think.
if it's that much, yeah.
Yeah, and that would include the price of the truck in that too.
So is that in addition to the 19 trucks, or is that included in that?
That will be the 19th truck.
Right.
Okay.
And we have one that we desperately need to replace. So,
which is a Laurel Canyon truck, so.
Yeah.
So, speaking of, Kurt went after that truck, for them to ship that was gonna be $1,000 or more.
1,100 is what he estimated.
So Kurt took his personal truck down there, picked it up, it fit in the back, the tank felt in the back of the deal, so you'll see the next set of vouchers, there's mileage for him using his own truck. So we saved the county over $500 on that, so. But yeah, we did check and they said it was $1,100 on that, so that's it. We've got a Court Carroll, who was a volunteer down in Humboldt Creek, turned his letter of resignation in on the 1st of February. He'd had 24 years with us, was another one of our active firefighters, getting up there in age, a little bit of
What'd you say his name was?
Clark Carroll, Carroll. He was with Humboldt Trucks. So, we recommend that he be allowed to receive the benefits through the Firemen's Relief Association because he had enough time in and was an active member of our department. And that would take a motion.
I'll make a motion to go proceed with that.
A second.
Moving second. Do you know how much that amounts to?
20,
Wayne Adams was pretty good.
22,000, something like that, or 19.
That should be around 18 and 19,000 for that. Yeah. Kathy, anytime a volunteer retires after 20 years of service with us, and they've been to at least 75% of the fires when available, because of a fund deal we've got set up with the insurance commissioner's office, it's statewide, they can receive a benefit. Depends on how much money we've got into our annuity account and stuff. And so for being a volunteer, to get money back for being a volunteer is kind of nice. It helps them over the years of service.
You don't get it when you're actually doing the job, but at the end,
Yeah, but afterwards, so.
After 20 years, and they have participated in 75% of
When available.
Yeah.
As long as we make an effort to come out on fires, if the guy shows up one in 20 years, no, he's not gonna get it, but somebody else, well, we've had some that try that, so.
and
Yeah, that's
train-
neat.
And training.
Right.
Well, I think that's great that I see that they were down there cleaning the fire trucks up and doing that. I mean, you always have a lot of volunteers or participants doing that. So that, to me, tells me that they like what they're doing, because they surely wouldn't do that in their time off and stuff. But there was several down there doing that, so that's awesome that
But
they're.
they do that. In fact, we got a new program now. You want to talk about going around and
Okay.
I got a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Lieutenant Brian Field and Captain Adam Chamber came up with a program, kind of a fire prevention type program. They're going out to trying to cover the whole county, basically, and literally going to people's houses and saying, okay, if we have to get into your driveway, you might need to trim some trees back, you might need to clean up the vegetation around your house so that if you get a fire coming at you, it doesn't have the fuel load like we did on Otter Creek last year and some other places like that. Kim helped them. They designed a brochure with all kinds of different information in it, going out, hand delivering it to people, talking to the people, kind of telling them what we're doing as a fire department.
they take a fire truck out there,
Yeah.
so it exercises
They're
the fire truck.
identified as,
And people, they've done the last 2 Saturdays so far for about 3 hours each Saturday, and people were all receptive to it. So they've been out in the McDowell Creek area.
Yeah.
And if people don't have smoke alarms and they own their house, we've got a program set up at the State Fire Marshal's office that will go back out and install necessary smoke alarms in their house for no cost.
Nice.
But they have to own their own house. So our guys are active. They
So
wanna-
we did put in for that fire
Right. I
grant
signed the letter of
to help
support.
you guys, with that too, and I'll keep you
The-
posted
The
on that.
rejection, right, yeah. Yeah, I signed the letter on that too, so,
Before I forget, this has been on my desk.
yeah, that's on my list.
All right.
The next thing I've got under fire is the firework resolution. I've sent that, I think the updated copies with a clean copy to everybody. I don't see any other changes in it. I think, I
When
don't,
did you send that, Gary? Was it 2 weeks ago or when?
it would have been the week before the last meeting.
Because that resolution said $100 and somebody had mentioned $1,000 because the city's is 1,500, right? So did you choose
The
then?
new one,
That's 500.
is 500.
Okay.
Our old one was 100. And the new one, let me make sure it's in here.
It's in there.
I think it's Gary in
Yeah,
the week of the.
a license fee in the amount of 500 shall be charged for each application, so.
Let's see.
So, I don't know what Kathy's talking about. We kicked around 1,000. Do you think that will deter? I mean, we only got 4 stands.
We only got 4 stations.
Two of them are owned by the same person. Me personally, if you go to 1,000, we're probably not gonna, we'll be lucky if we have the 2, if they stay with it. I don't think any of them make a lot of money off the stands.
Not like they used to.
Yeah.
People used to make $20,000 a year on stands, but I don't think they get that now because so many of them, a lot of them are corporations too, so. But, this would put the fireworks being sold and being able to shut off from July 1st through July the 4th, which would mirror what the city does, because we don't see that much on the 5th of July being shut off. And if the city shuts theirs off on the 4th and people want to shoot and they live in the city, I don't want them out in the county, especially with the dry grass and that kind of stuff.
What do you, I know if I remember correctly, we talked about if things fell on a weekend. What was that, Betsy? You brought it up. Weekends
Oh,
conflicting with the dates.
right, I thought it was important that, the people have the weekend time on, and that wasn't possible, that they would have weekend time to set off fireworks. There could be days that wouldn't happen, and all their firework time would be within the work week. I think the way it was structured.
But did we have a solution to that?
I think you could add a day. Or I think if it, you could say if you don't have a Saturday within, was it 4 days? Let me look at it.
Next year, July 4th is on a Saturday. The following year, it'll be on a Sunday.
So it's July 1st through July 4th of any year. So if July 1st was on a Monday, you'd have July 1st, 2nd, 3rd,
Yeah.
4th, you'd just have to Thursday, and people wouldn't be able to have a weekend.
And then in 2028, July 4th will be on a Tuesday, but you have, first is on a Saturday, Sunday, and then you got Monday, Tuesday. So I think you're always gonna catch a weekend somewhere.
Unless it's like she said, and it's, the first is on a Monday.
But most people also have the 4th of July off.
Well,
You could do but if this does not include a Saturday or Sunday, you could either do the following Friday or the following Saturday.
Or we could always
or the previous.
come back and request special permission for that year too,
Yeah.
couldn't we? Would that be easier?
I mean, I think it'd be easier just to probably put the resolution all in one. And I think it almost seems like most of the stuff is, I would think the previous weekend would be more than the following, don't you? I think by July
I
fifth,
think it would be
everybody's
too
done.
confusing. I think the first through the fourth is good.
Well, and that's something that can be revisited down,
Okay,
down the road. For this year, I think this is good enough. We can always change it.
I still think, 500 is still pretty cheap, I think.
We go out usually once or twice and inspect the station. Cause they also pay for our time a little bit of response, and knock on wood, we haven't had a lot of firework calls in the past few years, ever since the city started selling them and allowing them in the city and to be shot off in the city. Our calls went down, cause we used to go out 15 times when I first was on the sheriff's office and we ran fire calls, so.
Yeah.
And now, I think last year, last 2 years, I don't think we've had any firework related calls, so.
Well, it's not a moneymaker, but I agree with Trish, 500 seems, 100 is really dirt cheap.
You
Yeah.
started out at 50.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, but that was before the city
Yeah,
opened their,
Yeah, and then we bumped it up.
so, I don't know, what's the discretion of the commission?
Their recommendation is 500, right? And I don't have a problem with 500, because under the circumstances.
We can always revisit it. All right. Do I hear a motion so we would call this resolution 3-3-25? 2025.
3-3-25? 25, okay.
You got that look?
Well, I mean, I'm fine with that. I feel like we're, I think it's gonna be very confusing to the, having different ones, but, I'll go ahead and say.
Well, you're talking about the dates or the cost?
The cost, the dates are fine.
Let's see what it does this year.
The costs have been different for,
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I just, if people are willing to pay 1,500 in the city, they'll be willing to pay 1,500 out in the county too.
out in the county, the fireworks stands aren't where a lot of people get to too. I think that's why the city, like they're at Walmart and they're on
Yeah, in the higher,
downtown area
I
where
wouldn't even
people are.
know where one was, and where is one out in Milford is.
there's
There's
one on
the
Spring
four
Valley
that we've
Road.
dealt with this year, there's, the one down there by the old Harvest Inn.
East Sixth Street.
Yeah, there's one,
E6.
Fourth and East, just a block over.
I mean, they're technically in the city.
Yeah, but they're sitting on county property, both of them. The other two, one's at BJ's, and the other's been at Elmdale and 57.
Oh. Yeah, I was leaning towards 1,000, but we can go with 500 this year, I guess, whatever. So I got a motion and a second to approve resolution 3-3-2025. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
We'll get that signed here in a minute. Now switch over to the emergency management stuff. We got a weather webinar tonight or today at 1 o'clock for severe weather coming in possibly tonight. It looks like it's gonna stay further south of us, but we got that. And then after that happens, then we got a chance with high winds and snow, near blizzard conditions for the area right now. Everything north of us is in a winter storm watch. Depends if that drops down, we might be in that. We'll find out more at 1 o'clock. And then tonight at 7 o'clock is our severe weather training. It's always funny when those happen at the same time as when we've got different types of weather. We've had thunder snow before when we've been out at that, but that's for the public. Anybody that wants to come out and attend and learn a little bit more about the weather and what the Weather Service does, and that's out at the 4-H Center at 7:00 tonight.
Who does that, Gary?
Topeka Weather Service, they've been doing that. This will probably be the last year for in-person because of budget cuts and that kind of stuff. Then they'll probably just go back to the webinar type deals that they did back when COVID was happening. But you learn a lot more by in-person. I think they can reach a better audience that way, so. Our Everbridge notification system, Kim was approved by the Northeast Homeland Security Council. She's one of 3 administrators which help administer the program across the Northeast area. She's very knowledgeable on it. Somebody has questions, they're the ones that write the policy as to when that notification system can be used and stuff. So we're real pleased that she was able to accept that role. And she meets, I think it's once a month for about an hour on the Zoom meeting, and helps develop the policy and make sure that everybody's doing what they should be on that.
Gary, our next joint meeting, I think is May 19th for the city, county, and school district. I'd like for you to come and talk about Everbridge.
Okay,
I'll send you an email,
okay.
but I want to put that on one of the agenda items, just because I think the more people, I think we're getting it out there, but there still could
We
be,
still got a lot of
Yeah.
people that we need to try to push, and I know the different, Grandview and Milford are pushing that too. So
Yeah.
they're trying to, but a lot of people with getting that in. Okay, we will put that in. Last week's elected officials training, 37 people showed up for that. Received training.
well attended.
I was well pleased.
One of the best.
JD did 2 over in Riley County, and I think he had 10 at one and 18 at the other one, so in 2 sessions on Tuesday. So we outdid Riley County on the training, but I think it was well worth for everybody and stuff, and we just need to keep up on that.
Gary, I thought that was awesome training. You know, I always appreciate that. I know when we used to do that COOP training and stuff, it had a little bit, you know, it was pretty, I'm not really sure where it's at here. But I was confused in the sense as to, I mean, generally speaking, I know of the protocol, how it's going to work, but again, I didn't, you know, it says, you know, when we left, everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. You know, who is the IC person and, you know, and then, you know, the commission, then the contact will be with the commission, and then we basically would not necessarily participate unless, I still think we kind of need to be informed in a
Right,
sense, but,
right,
you know,
right.
exactly.
The IC will be, the incident commander will be the person that's in charge of the scene. If it's in the city, a major, let's say we have a building collapse downtown or something, the IC will probably be like the fire chief or the police chief. We'll probably do a unified command, and then I'd be the one that would be communicating with you guys. If we need to have the elected officials come in to help make policy, we can pull them in. A lot of times, if it's gonna be a short duration, we probably won't be using the elected officials. So it's a case-by-case basis as to who's in charge and stuff. It's not me being in charge all the time.
Yeah, you're there for resources and.
I'm there for
support
resources and
and-
that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And sometimes I will, like during COVID.
Yeah.
I was the commander of COVID because of other stuff going on and stuff. But, so it's a case-by-case basis, and it can change, especially if it goes over a 12 or 24-hour period, so.
Well, along with your question, the PIO, I mean, how does that get designated?
Right now, it's Jeanette DeMars. She's been through the training and stuff. It had been David Gilbert, but with him being the undersheriff, he's got too many responsibilities. If something happens, he would be, we're looking to see backups, like we talked about, the different PIO groups come together. And so, because Westmoreland, And that took stretched over several days. They had several PIOs that went up and helped on stuff like that. So it's not just one person, it's actually gonna be a group of people, but there's one lead person. And when Jeanette retires, we'll have to find somebody to take over for her. The nice thing about Jeanette, she used to be in journalism, so she knew what to do and who to talk to. She still has all her contacts, so we're looking forward to who we're gonna have to put into the civil position sometime, or a couple people, just to be ready, so in case one's out of town. It's nice having all the other departments have people that had stepped up before, if I can do extra help too, so. All right. He asked about, there was a question about what our threshold was there at the training the other night. Geary County for 2025 is $173,408.08 is our threshold that we have to meet. The snowfall earlier this year, our expenses and stuff that we submitted for reimbursement for us in the city was $236,000. So we did meet our threshold on that, so. I couldn't remember exactly what it was at the time, but I looked that up. The final thing I have today is the emergency operation plan, the promulgation that we need to get approved to say that you guys endorse the emergency operation plan and all people involved assume their roles and responsibility to take appropriate actions as outlined in the plan. So, questions on that?
Nope.
I think we'll need a motion on that too.
Yeah.
So moved. I'll second.
Moving second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay.
Carried.
And that is all we've got today. We'll get the signatures here in a second from everybody. Anything else? Enough going on, there's still more stuff, especially with the weather coming up, so.
Thanks. Hi.
Good morning.
I don't want to spread.
Yeah.
Ready for this one?
You bet.
All right. Good morning, Commission. Jeremy Myers, Geary County Public Works Administrator. Got with me Kaylin Roth, Administrative Services Manager with Public Works. We'll get started. First, we had the 2025 Noxious Weed Management Plan and the 2025 Annual Report. Should receive those. Do you have any questions about them?
I did not.
With those, I'd make a recommendation for Commission to approve those and sign.
So moved.
I'll second.
You moving second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
When she's going around next, I'd have the Wildcat Haul route request for Whiskey Lake Road. This is an addition to the original requested routes for the I-70 project. You would have a copy of that as well to review. You got any questions regarding that?
No, you had given this to us earlier too.
Yeah, this is from the meeting that I
Right,
missed, so. I've looked at it. I'm okay with it. As they have mentioned in there, they will record the road's conditions prior to them starting and then after. So I think they'll honor that as far as that goes. I will stress to them, because there are some residential properties there along Bowler Road, that they use caution and slow travels through there. If that does become an issue, we may come back and do a temporary resolution to go 35 miles an hour or something during that construction. But
So do we need to approve the Hall Road?
yes,
So moved.
I'll second.
And then second, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So in the dry time, I mean, they'll put down something to control the dust.
they can put some water down to control the dust. They won't do any calcium chloride treatments or anything like that. But yeah, if it becomes an issue, all we have to do is let them know, and they'll put some water down.
Thank you.
Next was just the letter that we received from the 2025 Heritage Trust Fund grant application. Not good news there.
No, I know.
I hated to see that, yeah. I did meet with finance. We had a conversation kind of regarding around future direction of the second phase of that project. I have reached out to IMR, who is currently doing the first phase, and gonna meet with him later this week and just get a quote on what that second phase is looking like cost-wise. It was kind of my initial thought that without all the mobilization cost with them already being here, maybe a little bit of a
Cheaper.
benefit, right? So we'll meet with him and see what that comes back to be and advise commission at a later date.
So with that said, if we proceed to go forward, Tammy, the funding would, without this, the funding would come from CIP.
Potentially, I mean, you guys would have to approve it, but potentially, yes.
And if you reapply in 26, retroactive to help offset.
I don't think so, because I think that has to be approved before the project is started, is how I read the grant.
Yeah.
So if we go forward, that's why he wants to see if they'll cut the cost by doing it back to back. But that would be what is that cost gonna be compared to what it would be if we stopped and started again in 26? And so that's how we would make our recommendation to you. And then we're also doing some research on the tax credits, because if there's a potential that we could still get tax credits anyway, even if we don't have a grant, that's what. So I believe it's 30% of your project that's not funded with a grant. And then of that 30% that's eligible, you can get 80 to 90 cents on the dollar for a tax credit purchase. So we're already doing it with this one, but if we can still do it on the other. So all of those factors is what they're looking at. How to come back with their recommendation to.
All right.
Next, I had the KDHE, HHW inspection letter that I sent you guys, just showing that everything was in compliance there. So big shout out to Jason and his staff down there. They keep the place tidied up and in order like it needs to be. So when we have random pop-up inspections, we're good to go.
Yeah.
They don't often give you notice when they're coming. Next would be the jail's needs assessment. I'd have brought Sheriff in. Sheriff, if you want to come up, we can kind of discuss this a little bit. Stay there.
He's gonna stand at the podium.
Look official.
Good morning.
Morning.
After reviewing the needs assessment proposal, and the sheriff's also reaching out to some outside agencies, I think it would be general consensus that we would recommend commission award the needs assessment to the justice planners in the amount of $77,250. Sheriff, do you have anything to add to that?
I do not. I mentioned at the last meeting the difference, and it's just the extensive interviews that are going on. And you're paying that extra money for the unbiased decision-making that we have nothing to do with, so citizens or whoever can say there's bias towards our numbers.
I think this is gonna be a huge project and we need to do it the right way. And show that we did our due diligence of what we need, and not just put Band-Aids on stuff. We truly, truly need to look at the true assessed need for our county.
Yeah, I think no stone left unturned, so to speak, is
Yeah.
the direction we need to
Yeah,
be
and
going here, you
And
know.
this is on, we're using you offered to put some money from the.
DSO
forfeiture.
offered to take $20,000 towards that study to help offset the cost of the county.
And then the rest of it would come out of where?
We have $11,107.53 in the reserve jail funds in the CIP. The sheriff mentioned his sheriff seizure account of $20,000, and then that would leave a remaining CIP of $46,142.47.
Okay.
We have spoken with Tammy about this, and this was her recommendation as well to commission. It's ultimately your decision, but those are some things that we've come up with.
So with the CIP, we have our next quarterly meeting. Can we do that sooner so that we can speed this process up?
Yeah, I would say this is an emergency,
Yeah,
to
that's
where
what I
we
meant.
get on it instead of waiting till April. I mean, I'd rather do it today, just because it needs to get done ASAP.
The reason for my question is that should be included in the motion made.
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's why I wanted to know what the,
Yeah, it gives you the latitude in the CIP program. When you deem something an emergency, that's when they are to come outside that limit.
I would say that's a huge emergency.
And I appreciate, Sheriff, the due diligence of checking with other agencies. I mean,
Yeah, this is
checking
very,
all the options.
this is very important to me, especially with the ongoing leakage that we have above our brand new admin area that continues. As Jeremy will tell you, I bug him quite a bit in reference to all these issues we have. As I mentioned last week, I tried to be proactive on how we can slow down and minimize damage. Unfortunately, there was a spike in arrests in the last week. So now the numbers are back up around 100 again. And if I can get them around 90, we can start shutting down that north side. But as of today, a week later, we have not been able to shut that down.
Well, I make a motion with, the numbers, presented, on where the money's coming to go with the jail assessment recommended by the sheriff and, Jeremy.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Any more you guys want to add? All good with it?
No, other than I've spoken with Sean Harding with HMN, and he's just kind of been in a holding pattern as well with the feasibility portion of this. That'll work hand in hand with the needs assessment. So I have been in contact with him, did let him know how the outcome of today would be, and we'll also let justice planners know about HMN, and they can work hand in hand as we go through this process.
I think it's gonna be eye-opening. I mean, I truly do.
I think so.
Okay, with that said, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
All right.
Thank you.
Sheriff, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch. Next is the Sheriff's Office RTU number 5 replacement. This unit was observed during PMs to have holes due to rusting in the heat exchanger. TCA proposal of $1,693.37. Go ahead was given and the replacement work has been completed. So that's all taken care of. Cloud County Community College Building B, ACU replacement. Unfortunately, during snow removal efforts in January, we had damage to an AC unit at Building B, Cloud Community College by Public Works personnel. So this was done in-house. TCA has provided a proposal in the amount of $6,239 to replace this unit. So I would recommend commission waive the purchasing policy and approve the ACU replacement using Cloud County Community College Fund.
So moved. I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
St. Xavier Parish Prayer and Action Team. During the month of July, St. Francis, St. Xavier Parish will be hosting prayer and action. This is a summer mission program in the Salina Diocese area. This year, over 300 youth and their sponsors will be coming to Junction City to paint houses, trim trees, and provide general maintenance for those who are in need. And during this time, they will be hauling brush to the landfill by trailer. Does the commission want to allow free disposal of the brush like they did last year or years in the past?
Absolutely.
Is it gonna be on the weekend you guys are open, or?
It says they will be in contact at specific days as the time gets a little bit closer. So yeah, we'll work that out. Hopefully it is on the weekend that we're open down there. Next is the Health Department backflow preventer. If you'll recall, on February 3rd, Commission approved replacement of the failed backflow preventer at a cost of $3,294.76 through the Health Department CIP fund. The proposal was quite difficult to read and understand, as Kaylin will second, but after seeking some clarification on that cost was incorrect. The correct amount for that is $6,649.08. So I would recommend commission approve of that through the Health Department CIP fund.
So moved.
That's Johnson Controls doing that work.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Next is the NCKCHA meeting, Wednesday, April 2nd at 9 a.m. Myself and Road and Bridge Supervisor Thomas Snodgrass will be attending the annual North Central Kansas County Highway Association Spring Meeting at the Saline County Livestock and Expo Center in Salina, Kansas. Are there any commissioners who would want to RSVP to attend this?
That date doesn't work for me, but
Okay,
I can't either.
okay. Not a problem. We'll try not to let them talk us into hosting it.
Yeah.
I remember that.
They tricked you.
That's why you don't want.
It was a great turnout, though. It was
It
nice
was.
to have them here. Kaylin did an excellent job getting that
Yes,
lined up.
yes.
So, Gary kind of touched on it a little bit on the January 4th through 5th snow event. And with that, we did receive an email from the Kansas Department of Emergency Management, or KDEM, stating after reviewing the damage assessment data received from counties and state agencies for the January 4th through 5th winter storm, KDEM was able to verify approximately $1.923 million of eligible damages, which is more than $3.6 million short of the state threshold of $5,552,593.20 for Governor Kelly to request a major presidential disaster declaration. In that email, it goes on to say the state will not be proceeding with submitting a request to FEMA. So as far as I know, that's kind of a wash and won't be getting anything through that.
Even considering the whole northeast part of the state.
Yeah. I mean, I just wonder if a lot of the counties and state didn't turn in some costs or what the deal was. You know, you thought it would have racked up a little bit higher than that, but unfortunately, that's where they ended up with it. Holiday pay period, overtime. We did have 2 employees that worked 30 minutes each on February 17th. And since this was a pay period with a holiday, I'd recommend commission approval for this time to be paid as overtime. I think they come in at 11:30 that night, so that 11:30 to 12 o'clock, put them in that deal.
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
2025 noxious weed chemical bids. Bids have been sent out and requests for bids posted on the Geary County website. Bids are due back March 14th by 4:30 PM with an opening date and time of March 17th at 11 AM during my next commission meeting
What was that for?
for the noxious weed
Noxious
chemical
weed,
bids for
okay.
2025. Kaylin, you want to touch on the transfer station internet? You've dug it out a little deeper than I have.
Yes, so currently at the transfer station, we have Brightspeed for our internet provider, at a cost of $68 per month. However, we experience issues with speed and reliability from time to time. And with our new camera system we have at the landfill, it is not sufficient enough to work right now at the transfer station location. Because the internet speed is just not fast enough and stable enough for it. Twin Valley's not out there yet. They should know within the next week or two, but they're working with the railroad, so they have to go put their fiber underneath that, so that will take some time if that project ever gets approved. I did ask Next Tech, they are not out there, providing internet service. Cox, last we knew, has, service, but it's not hooked up to our building, and I think got the recommendation to maybe stay away from Cox, with Starlink being a better fit. And so we are gonna look into Starlink, at a cost of $140 per month. And this would get the speed and the reliability we needed for the transfer station. There's no contract, it stays online, so we wouldn't have to sign into anything with them. And looking at the budget, we will have enough wiggle room for the increased monthly cost. The equipment installation is estimated around $1,000, and they would come out of the solid waste, fund.
So let's just say they were waiting a week for Twin Valley to see if they were gonna be able to be out there.
Twin Valley, they came out last Monday, and she said within the next 2 weeks, they should know if they can even start that
Should
project.
we wait though and see? Cause I mean, I think it's gonna be with Twin Valley on most of the, county. It might be cheaper. I don't know if it
Yeah.
would be, but, I mean, if they're gonna have something within the next month or so, they, wait and see and then go with Starlink if that's not gonna be possible.
Yeah, and if there's no contract with Starlink, if it takes Twin Valley 2 years to do the whole construction, then
Yeah.
at that point, we could look at
Sure.
going on Twin Valley. Which is what was my kind of initial thought with that, but I don't know if they know for sure if they have the approval from the railroad to even
Yeah.
mess with all of that. So they could, they couldn't, but then you still have, I don't know how long an
would
actual
take for them
construction phase, yeah. So with
Thoughts?
weather warming up, with landfill being used more now, kind of need the
What they get.
camera working.
So they didn't like the idea of having Cox because I thought 5 or 10 years ago, I thought they laid cable clear down through here and widened the, widen the ability to transfer more speed up to, because we were having problems then, but I thought they took
Yeah.
care of all that, but they aren't clear.
I spoke with Next Tech and he said last he knew they went up to the building, so I don't know maybe how far Cox goes. But when we were working with Performance Audio on the camera, he had mentioned that he installed Starlink way out for someone way out in the county who didn't have any service, and now they have no issues and it's quick and reliable. So that was kind of why we were thinking that
Teresa,
might
do
be
you
the.
recall that when we were having problems with Cox and all the times?
Yeah, and that's why we got rid of them and went to Twin Valley. Cause Cox is expensive and we were having a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well, I thought that, whatever they did to widen the the
Yeah,
band
that's what
there,
they
that
said.
took, but it still didn't take care of it.
I think there's been, I don't know exactly, but some discrepancies or something with Cox even getting a cable to the scale house down there, that they haven't been willing to do it in the past or something. That's why we've always been with Brightspeed, but Brightspeed has been quite.
It's kind of crazy because, Brightspeed and Cox and Twin Valley, and we've got 3 or 4 places digging all over up by Ash and everywhere, putting all this cable in, and I understand that's the business, but
Yeah.
the move would try to be, instead of everybody, they dug up all that area on Ash, a year ago, and now Brightspeed's digging it up again,
Right,
and, it just doesn't make sense, but.
Yeah, no, it gets confusing with who's where and who can do
Exactly,
what.
yes, it really is.
Yeah, and then,
Because you make the best decision, what's gonna be able to work out there for you.
yeah,
So your recommendation is Starlink for now?
mhm.
I
I've heard
think
good
so. I
things
know
about
with Twin Valley dealing with
Starlink
this
through,
railroad
what is
issue
Starlink?
down
I've
here,
never
trying to
heard
get
of that.
approval to get through there right away.
Just-
And then installation time of getting down to the
Starlink,
transfer
it's not like
station. I think
that.
will probably be a considerable amount of time out, personally.
Okay.
I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah, I've heard
So
of it.
do I, is there a motion to,
Yeah, I'll make the motion to go with Starlink, because who knows how long it's gonna take to validate.
Yeah. And like I said, we can always
Or
go
if-
back later and check out, especially if there's no contract and there's no issue there. But for getting it up and running right now and,
I know some people in the south part of the county have it, and they really like it.
I've heard a lot of good things
Yeah.
about it myself.
we'll
do
find
I
out.
hear a second?
I'll second.
Then moving seconded to go with Starlink. And say the cost again, 140 a month.
140 a month, for their business on their website. And then equipment and installation estimated around 1,000. So if it changes, we'll obviously bring it back and advise.
So when you call it, actually, they might have a government rate, so it might
Yeah.
be cheaper than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Could be. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I,
Motion carried.
Next, I got the landfill hang lease. I'll be requesting sealed bids for the 3-year landfill hang lease. Bids will be due back April 4th at 4:30 PM with an opening date of April 7th at 11 AM for that. Try that again. If you recall, didn't have much luck last time, but maybe we'll get a little bit better luck this time, so.
what was that, Jeremy, what's?
It's the landfill hang lease. We do a 3-year landfill hang lease on the closed landfill down here. So, we sent it out for bid last fall, and I think we only got one back, and it was relatively low. So commission, decided they would rather wait till this year and send it out again early this year and try.
And is landfill still just open on certain Saturdays, is that right?
It is, yes.
And if there's a occurrence that happens, then you consider opening it up for?
Yep.
I just, okay.
Yep.
Second Saturday of the month, so,
Pardon?
second Saturday of each month.
Last but not least, CIP approved shop restroom renovation project. Requests for bids will be sent out for this project and posted on the county website. These bids will be due April 4th at 4:30 PM, and I'll have an opening at those at my commission meeting, April 7th at 11:15 AM. Put PM on there, but I don't plan on being here in the PM. so. With that, that's all I have. Does the commission have any questions for me?
Yeah, Teresa brought it up, was it last week, about the double doors?
Oh, yeah, I talked to him too.
Yeah, kind of give us an update on that.
As far as that goes, I don't really know. I know you have sent a deal. We talked with Betsy about it.
Yeah, I sent an email and said, please let us know by the 10th that you're still proceeding.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, I guess we'll see what they get back with you with and go from there.
Okay. Nope, thank you.
Still a need for it. I do know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I did want to ask about the
Okay.
grant we're putting in for the roads, the grant, I can't remember the name of the grant, the assessment.
Say Streets for All.
Yes.
Yes.
That is my to-do list.
Okay.
I think with the updated financial policies that, Tammy got in November, when she sent them out, it kind of may help us to take it a different route,
Okay.
on how we want to pursue, and it would be an easier route on how we want to pursue it. So I'm just checking, with making sure we're meeting all of our requirements
plus all of the federal requirements.
Okay.
We met with our rep on that in December, and so she kind of re-advised maybe we might want to pursue it differently that way. And so that's where we're kind of at. So I was developing RFPs, reaching out to other cities and counties, but there's a lot of information I do not want to miss that needs to be included in it. And so if we can go kind of a different route of basically saying, this is the amount of money we have, what can you offer to us, then we don't miss anything of what we're asking. We just kind of make sure they're giving us everything we're after.
Okay, awesome. And now that they've come out and said that they're not doing the interchange, they're just doing the bridge and the infrastructure. We had put money aside for that in CIP. I would want to have a discussion on using that money because we need to get the road around the high school done. I mean, those kids shouldn't be driving on that gravel road.
Right.
So I mean, I'd like, when we talk about it, that and have that discussion with the commission as far as what we do with that monies now that that's been said publicly by KDOT that that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Yeah, good to know.
thank you.
And as far as the SS4A, we are meeting our requirements and deadlines at this point, so we're not behind on any of it. It's just kind of a painstaking
Yeah,
process
it
to
is.
get that RFP
Yeah.
developed and, you know, as Kayla mentioned, make sure that we're dotting all the i's, crossing all the t's and all that.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome, thank you.
thank you very much.
Good report.
Yeah, it didn't cost us that much this time.
Those days
Don't
are
jinx
coming.
it.
Yeah, I know. Morning.
Morning. We'll quickly start off. Rick Dykstra, Geary County CBB. Thank you for taking the time to hear us today. Reference to the follow-up, I did meet with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in State Park. Let's start with State Park. They are not interested. They are looking at expanding their campgrounds and just not interested.
And for the sports complex?
Right.
Okay.
Corps of Engineers says recreation is within their model, but understand this would be a very, very timely process. And there is no infrastructure nearby or anything. So it was, I'll just say, as he warned me, it would be a very long process. So that's that. I do have a meeting on the 12th with the city manager to meet with him. Then after that, I'll make that report. So thank you. Oh, last thing. I happened to be Saturday in Kansas City at Bass Pro Shop. And this week and this coming weekend is their biggest weekend of all year, the spring fishing fair. So I asked, hey, could we come here on Saturday and set up a Milford Lake display? I'm waiting. It sounded very positive, so I might
Nice.
be there Saturday with our display in the store. So
Awesome.
just wanted to share that.
Good job on that.
Good morning, Raquel Cinco, Director of CBB. It's the first time I say that out loud, actually.
And welcome and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us the time. But I wanted to talk to you guys about a small market meeting summit that we got approached by Manhattan Convention Visitors Bureau to split the attendance with them. So I just had a couple things why I feel that it would be important for us to join that. It's taking place in Branson, and it will be on April 30th and May 1st. It would help enhance our destination image. Presenting a unified front strengthens the region's images as a comprehensive and attractive destination for meetings and conventions, which happens to be my thing now. And expanding market research, having the joint effort with the other county. The efforts can expand the market research beyond individual county boundaries, attracting meeting planners who may be looking for a combination of urban and rural experiences. This allows for the highlighting of the unique aspects that each county brings to the table, and how they complement each other. As far as increased visibility goes, a joint presentation will draw more attention at the summit, increasing visibility and generating more leads. Comprehensive offerings would be together with the bureaus, we can offer a more comprehensive package, including diverse venues, lodging options, and recreational activities. This demonstrates the region's versatility and ability to cater various meetings and requirements. It would also show that we are networking, and it would lead to more lead generation. Collaborative networking efforts will maximize opportunities to connect with meeting planners and generate valuable leads. By working together, more ground can be covered and more contacts can be made. We're going to be able to highlight regional synergies, the close proximity of the two areas, and the synergies that exist between them will be highlighted. And then there's going to be economic benefits as well, increased tourism revenue. Attracting more meetings and conventions will generate increased tourism revenue for both Geary County and Manhattan, benefiting local businesses and communities. Boosting the meetings and conventions sector contributes to economic diversification, creating jobs and supporting local economies. Partnerships such as this one will promote regional economic growth and strengthen overall economic stability of the area. In essence, the partnership allows both entities to amplify their strengths, creating a more compelling proposition for meeting planners and ultimately driving economic growth for the entire region. I'm sorry. Sure, please.
If I could add something, this is part of the Meet Kansas Coalition. Most people are gonna go to the big yearly conference in New Hampshire.
In New York.
In New York. Right? The summit is right here in our backyard. And all these meeting planners and conference planners. So I just wanted to say that this is a result of us belonging to Meet Kansas. So, and all my memory, Manhattan asked us to go.
And I am all about working together in regionalism, because the stronger our region, the better it is for everybody. But what I don't understand is, why is Manhattan only sending one person and they're wanting us to send three?
It's a three-way deal. I don't know. We haven't met with them. They're asking, are we gonna go?
Right.
Yeah,
But
but why are we gonna send our whole entire office when
Well,
we're only sending one? That's
so
my question.
So it wouldn't be the entire office. It would be split in three as far as three different CVBs go. So it would be Manhattan, us, and I think they're looking at asking Abilene as well. It wouldn't be our entire office that would be going.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
then I misunderstood
Right,
that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because it looked like there was three in one.
No. So the total cost for it is $4,500.
Oh, okay.
If our third would be $1,500.
Mhm.
So basically it's not us taking all of our staff
Okay.
out of the office.
Okay.
Definitely not.
Okay.
All right, good
No,
idea.
I think it's a great thing. I think we should.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
definitely should.
And I think, like Rick mentioned, the fact that they approached us about it. I mean, I don't know.
No, I think it's great that working together, I think regional, that, like I said, is strengthening the region is
Mhm.
strengthening for all of us.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing.
Okay.
So, and our lake is better than theirs.
Definitely.
You might just update those two on your meeting last week, or it escapes me now. The
Meeting.
group you met with.
Oh, with Kansas Dialogue. So we met with Kansas Dialogue last week. They're planning their 30th year dialogue. I attended it last year for the first time. I was in McPherson. And so they're already booked. They are coming third week in August, I believe.
Here.
Yes, coming to Geary County, which is really exciting. They are staying, they've got a room block for 40 room nights for 2 nights, so 80 room nights at the Sonesta. They will have some of their dialogue planned at the convention center. They are also going to be touring the county with all together. So they'll be going to Fort Riley. They'll be going down to Milford. They're going to be here in town. I feel like it was a great meeting that we had with them. there wasn't much to sell because they're coming already. To me, it's really exciting. Martha Farrell is the lady's name. And when she heard that I was awarded this position, she said, well, now you can tell me you're bringing this huge group in for your first group. So, yeah, I think it went really well, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I am, because they don't do a lot of, I think it's a very small knit group. And I was gonna try to go, but I couldn't go to McPherson. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's been brought. Actually, Terry Butler's the one that,
Yeah.
found out about it and started talking about it. So I think that.
Yeah, she attended, her and I both attended
Yeah.
last year, so it's a great group, I think, and it's not just anybody attends it, it's an invitation only thing, so it's kind of an exclusive thing, which is exciting to, I think, bring to our
Awesome.
county. Mhm.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that's great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank
Let
you.
us know if you need anything.
Will do.
Good luck on going Saturday to Kansas City.
Yeah, that'll be
I
exciting.
hope so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down the hall. Wow. Who brought the popcorn? So I see a show.
Do we have to be quiet or can I say hello?
You can say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
You're not in the library.
I don't want to be inconvenienced.
Not you, Henry.
Better watch out who you're sitting next to. I don't know, who is he?
There's only seats available.
Just a face in the room, just a face in the room.
I want to say I'm excited. You're doing great things already,
Thank
and
you.
I'm excited to see that. You guys have made a great decision there. And it's pretty cool. This is government at its best. And so I had to just come sit and watch and say hello.
Check it out.
Yes,
Good.
ma'am.
We're glad to have people here.
And
And
if I
so,
want to say, you are doing an excellent job, and you have since you stepped up. And with that whole EMS deal, the way you broke that down for me, you were the one that helped me to really wrap my mind around that.
She needs a
So thank you so
raise.
much.
Oh, man.
Thank
She
you
does
so
a
much.
good job.
No, she does a very good job of dumbing it down for me.
Well worth the money.
For sure, for sure.
you will be posted tonight. You will, yeah.
I wasn't prepared for this.
Go fix your hair.
Give me some tips.
Here's Rick's camera shot.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
You got skills there, you know that, right?
So they tell me.
Didn't get the best side of Rick there.
He's trying to be slick on me there, see?
He was,
Outstanding.
the new food pantry that we're working on, and he was there the other day, so I got the.
Excuse me again.
This is very good.
He's hitting the ground running. He's hitting the ground running.
Very dedicated to the community. I didn't know a lot of his background, but.
But I'm always channeled that I think that we needed some military presence up there. I mean, with our city being so diverse and with the presence of the military, I can see why.
Help him.
Yeah.
Retired
Help him too.
Lieutenant Colonel as city manager, retired command sergeant, as commissioner. I think we're moving in the
You
right
guys
direction.
better watch it.
Well, they had quite a mess before, maybe they're gonna get it straightened around.
Yes, sir. As long as you guys keep coming.
Sometimes that's what it takes, is a scream and holler.
There's a reason I'm gonna raise good.
I hate being,
Don't.
I hate it, it's just,
Awesome.
Excellent questions, well, the knowledge, somewhere about it.
Anything new with the bridge out there? Which Trish?
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Oh, I didn't have.
Oh, okay. Come on, Trish.
Did you not see that,
Well, I just wondered if there's anything extra going on.
not that we've been told.
It's kind of whisper, hush, hush for most guys.
I mean, they made their decision, they went, I think they were trying to make everybody happy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They went into the middle thing, but it is what it is. Well, one of the things, I was gonna bring this up in a review and update, but I'm glad that people are here, but somebody reached out to me because they're upset that we have our meetings during the day, and most counties do have it during the day. But I don't know what any you two would think about is, maybe one meeting a month, having it in the evening, like starting at 4 or 5, and then, to where people could come.
I don't have a problem with it. That would actually be my preference, to have meetings in the evening so that we could have more people come. I'm pretty much available whenever.
I think we should have a discussion on it and make a decision on that, because I would like to have at least one meeting, if it's the first meeting, last meeting. The last meeting's our staff meeting, but, but yeah, I think we should have a discussion.
And our last meeting is our joint meeting too.
Mhm. Yeah, some of
If
those
in
are
a
in,
month.
yeah, so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth discussion.
All right, we'll put it on the agenda for next week.
Got that, Teresa?
You guys better be ready. I know you see the footage of what we go through.
Yes, I watch from the comfort of my own home.
You've actually popped up a couple times.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
You saw it in person.
yeah. Oh, yeah, as a 28-year city employee, I went to plenty of those. It looks like there's people here for public comment.
Yeah, but we got 3 minutes till noon, and I was thinking there might be more show up.
Well, I know, that's all the more reason to start a little early.
No, I just thought that they might, the questions asked,
Sure. I don't know if they're all here about that, though, I don't know.
I don't either. No, we can go ahead and start. Who wants to go first?
Who's here for?
Mr. Gordon?
Do I step up?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
It just actually hit me. I didn't come with anything.
He's got a 10-second. Introduce yourself and your address.
Al Gordon, 1036 West 6th Street, Junction City, Kansas, 66441. How you guys doing? Chairman and commissioners. I see that you have the owl here. It's been asked to me a couple times. Do you guys actually record these?
They're uploaded on YouTube, on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
So, yes.
How does this work for you? Does it work really well?
Well, we've gotten some complaints that, apparently I'm a loudmouth and they don't have any problem hearing me, but my
I
two
get
other
that.
commissioners are,
Soft-spoken.
soft-spoken. So that has been probably one of the biggest complaints. We have had some technical difficulties. Like this morning, we had it on one computer and it said it was live, but it wasn't. And then, so we had to switch to a different computer. And so apparently I haven't had any complaints yet, so it's probably working correctly now. But, so yeah, there's been a little bit, but I don't think any too major.
Yeah, I've always been told that I'm the only one that speaks directly into the microphone with
Mhm.
ours. I'm just trying to see if we can, run a better system because I'm always getting technical issues. Just wanted to know how this works and also wanted to see if you guys would be willing to start bringing it to the joint meetings.
I
We
think
have in the past.
We have in the past. I don't mind doing it, no.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Thank you. That's all I have.
But I'm glad you brought it up because I wondered whether we need to investigate a different system.
Okay.
So
you guys are having some issues too. Then.
Yeah.
Well, just because it's hard for them
Nothing's
to hear.
perfect.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
But I think anything you're gonna get is gonna have some technical difficulties. You guys have a pretty elaborate system, and that was actually fairly inexpensive compared to we had a bid when we first came in of like $20,000, but that was less than $2,000 to get this set up.
Why don't you put wireless mics on each of you and tie
That's what I
them
was-
to it?
Well, I think somebody had said something about, somebody's preacher had said, they could do wireless mics. So I think maybe we just need to enhance what we have and maybe not get a whole new system.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's hard when you can't hear part of the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, because I even ran back some of my video the other day and, like my commissioner comments, it was some popping with the microphone. So
Yeah.
just trying to see. what we can
Rhonda's
do.
probably the worst one because she's soft-spoken to hear.
Got you.
And then if somebody talks, another thing is if somebody talks in it's hard to hear them, anything that they say.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is get people to come up
To the podium, yeah.
and talk into the mic, because it is a lot. Yep.
Not only that, but we have this hallway issue.
Yeah,
And like today, we got construction going on next door, so there's banging and everything. But you get traffic up and down the hallway, and that kind of overrides us sometimes. And sometimes it's hard to hear the presenter, from my standpoint, but, it's all the outside noise.
Yeah, some of the new stuff does have that noise cancellation too, that background.
Well, I'm not gonna point any elbows, but we do have a technologically savvy person in the room.
Well, thank you.
Uh-huh.
If you want me to do some background investigation on systems, I'm more than glad to do that as a county employee.
Yeah, I agree with Trish. Every system's gonna have its issues. Yes, sir.
Jim Schmidt, 7331 McDowell Creek Road, Manhattan, Kansas. So, yeah, Riley County resident, property owner, pay property taxes in Geary County. Good idea, Ferry. So I brought visual aids. So the other day, I don't know how many of you have taken the time to go down to Morse Road and circle back and come back up the north side of Geary County's McDowell Creek. But it's not very pretty at the moment. You as well. So a good idea, Ferry, and I don't know what the process is. That'd be up to maybe Madam Attorney here, but is there any way to work out a system with Riley County, whether it's an MOU or something of the sort? Because that half-mile stretch, roughly 2,200 feet on McDowell Creek that lies in Geary County on the north side of the interstate rarely gets attention. You're probably aware that Riley County went in and took the entire base out of McDowell Creek on their side a couple years ago. The base is now going out of the Geary County side with all of the asphalt trucks, the construction trucks, and everything else that's going through there. So it's going to be a mess come spring.
And not only that, but Riley County, you can tell from I-70 to Riley counties, they have striping and we don't have striping.
Nope. And they also salt and clear the road on a regular basis. And we tell our kids driving to school that you need to be paying attention to that county line transition because you'll go from clean pavement to snowpack pavement, just like that. Which is funny because Riley County's trucks, I followed them. They'll shut the ice off, lift the blade up, go down to Pressy Road, turn around and come back. So the Riley County trucks are already
there.
making the pass.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the other example is, and I don't know, what is it? 3.5 miles up Bowler Road to get to Phil's old trailer houses. That's where the county line is. So Riley County's sending their grow graders blade up 3.5 miles to blade roughly a mile of gravel road going to the dead end of the river. So it seems to me that there may be some efficiency gains if the two public works could figure out how to work together and Geary County takes over the north end of that gravel road on Bowler and vice versa. Riley County takes over the paved area there on that roughly half
I
mile.
haven't even thought about that.
We already
so-
have an agreement with Riley County on part of that Bowler Road.
Oh, really?
I wrote it, I think. I gave it to Corey, and I think Corey got it done. I mean, it was in 2021.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't remember that.
Okay, so.
Well, and I
Well, yeah,
know
let's look into that.
Riley County PD.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Riley County PD, I see them out there going by my brothers when I'm in the field, that they go all the way down there on Bowler Road. Just like their rounds down there.
Yep, so anyway. That's my good
No.
idea, Terry.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
All right, you
Thank
too.
you.
My turn.
You got 1 minute.
Okay, goodbye. No, I hate being a badass, but I'm not gonna be. I just want to visit about the EDC. I've been going to those meetings, for several months now, off and on, and you have been, I think, for
I just
2.
started.
Yeah, right, for 2 now. But what I've been noticing, and I wish the commissioner would have stayed here, because we're going after all these large corporations, to bring jobs here. But then when I see if something comes here, then we're giving away all these tax incentives, what they call corporate welfare. You guys know what it's all about. Well, it's kind of out of control, and I don't think we have the population to support all that. And I think it's just gonna drive our property taxes up, because we're the ones that are gonna have to pay for, everything to take care of these corporations being here. And like I said, our population hasn't grown. It's down, according to the MPO.
Why do you think it's down?
What?
Why do you think our population's down?
I think it's because of taxes, a lot of it. I really think it is. For what the community has to offer, I think the property taxes are high. I like the area, but I'm from rural areas, I like being rural. But anyway, that's just the concern that I have. And then it kind of shocked me. I was talking to a potential gubernatorial candidate here this weekend, and they're from eastern Kansas. And she said the same thing. She said, over in the Johnson County area, the corporate welfare is actually driving people away from the cities. And these cities are having a hard time making it now because their taxes have to keep continually going up. So that's what I was wondering, if there was some way, before the EDC is seeking out these companies, are we always gonna get these companies coming here that are wanting the tax incentives? We've become a welfare state, and I hope it's gonna end. I don't know, but, do we really need that for the population we have? That's, so, yeah. I just saw it
So
here.
is your concern going after the big companies versus smaller companies, or the incentives?
Well, I think it's a concern of who are we actually looking at? When you're looking at bringing these companies, they're checking on us. Do we ever say, what are you looking for in tax incentives to come here? Is that question ever asked? So that we make sure we get someone, that's gonna be here beneficial to us, a small community. Why are we wasting the dollars? We're spending $300,000 a year on EDC. And, if we're just gonna keep giving away our dollars,
But
why do we need that?
I see what you're saying as far as that, but you have to be competitive, and every community is offering some kind of incentive.
Sure.
Whether, different levels. If there's nobody in a certain part of, say, a lot, and we give somebody, okay, we're gonna abate your taxes for 10 years. We weren't getting those taxes to begin with, but we're gonna create 50 jobs. I mean, I think that's a return on investment when we give them that
Okay,
incentive.
but are you looking at, the actual everything they're being given? Because what about, the extra water they're gonna need, the extra wastewater they're gonna need?
Yeah.
All the other things that the taxpayer's
No,
gonna have to cover.
I-
That's what I'm saying, just to look at the whole picture
Yeah.
instead of seeing, it's like, do we even know what the EDC is chasing and whether it's gonna be viable for us?
Oh,
Where it'll
think we
be,
need to
instead
have
of
more of
hurting
a
us.
hands-on discussion with that, on what
Yes.
we are wanting to do. I totally agree with you, and I have brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that, the city manager and I have had that discussion as far as, we all need to be on the same page on what we're actually going after.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I have, that's what I see. I like, nobody really knows what's happening in the EDC. We're chasing all these companies, but, how do we know they're good?
And
We
sometimes
need
they're
somebody
not
like
chasing
Tammy in
them.
there.
People come here and ask for those kind of things. But like I said, every community is competing to bring jobs and to bring more
Oh,
economic development in there. And so you have to have some kind of an edge.
Right, But do we need that $300,000 edge? You know, do we really need that much of an annual dollar amount in the EDC? I met, the gal in Wamego. She was new, an EDC director. And she was so easy to talk to. And so, you know, and it's so personable. And it's like, why can't we just have a common person in that position pushing? That's what we had in our town where we came from, McCook, Nebraska. It was a local person, and that's what she did. You know, she just worked her way and kept working. And she brought Valmont into our community. So, you know, I'm just wondering if, if we really do need the $300,000 and what is happening. And what I really came upon, this last time, I was shocked that the EDC also Mickey is the head of the chamber too.
That was an agreement put in place, I think, in 17.
That was supposed to rotate
That does not.
when it started out,
What do you mean, what's supposed to rotate?
between the three entities, the EDC, the membership, and the MAC. And when Mr. Beeson left, Nikki was the only one there that had any, and it was short time she was there, but everybody else was gone. So when I talked to her, she said, well, they had no other choice than to put her in that capacity.
Because the master agreement, it didn't say that.
I think it does.
Huh.
Anyway, at that time, she said that, she goes, well, I plan on doing this till we get somebody, that's been here a while in the membership and Military Affairs Council. And then my goal is every year it just rotates. And so whoever's next in line takes over, they're in charge of the chamber,
Right,
the umbrella.
right. And that makes
That
more sense.
hasn't happened since the inception of that,
Okay.
so.
Because, what happens in the chamber, I think it needs some there needs to be some oversight there because you were there at the MPO meeting where, that letter was written, So if it was the EDC that was reaching out to the MPO, I can't get that information and I'm not gonna push for it, not going there. But, that's the only people that seem to know about this. So it's like, hey, why is the chamber sending out a letter, the MPO, for approval for our Taylor Road without the rest of the public knowing? Something needs to be more open there. Something needs to change at the chamber on how things are happening.
So in essence,
That's
are you just, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth or something, but if I hear you right, it sounds like you don't think we're getting our bang for our buck.
No, I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
I think you've got someone there that is, I'm not talking down Nikki or anything like that, but she likes working with the corporate environment. That's what she likes. And I really think that for the size of our community, we need someone that sure can work in that, but needs to focus on, something that fits our community better. That's just why I don't know whether I'm right or wrong. I don't know the financials of it, but, I just think it needs to be something that's looked into, checked into. Maybe the EDC needs a little overhauling, I don't know. I have no idea. But what I would like to see when I go to those meetings, I don't see local businesses there. I see Mr. Hoover there, but where are the people from Main Street in there? They have more of a handle on what's going on economically in the community than these other people do, I think anyway. And that's what I would, to help the community. At least you'd get some input from them on what they see as helping and what's hurting the community and how they can better succeed maybe. And it'll take time for them, to get into that. It's not all gonna happen at once, but I don't know. I just think the EDC needs revamped. I think it's functioning on more of a big city concept and not something that we are. We aren't a huge city. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Did you get our survey?
The
No,
survey?
not yet.
Nope,
In your assessment? Oh.
no. Haven't received anything yet. Do we need to run the hike?
Is it coming out yet?
Nope.
No?
Today?
I don't know. It might be, I don't know.
It might
We
be
haven't
today.
gotten it yet.
It'll probably be today.
Mr. Petty, got anything?
I wasn't, but I think I'll address some of that. Which address I gotta give?
Whatever one you're comfortable with.
Henry Petty, I'll say 1317 South Garfield, 4205 Elena Circle, Atlanta, Georgia. She had spoke of several things there about the EDC or whatever, and I agree with her. Last week, I was up at the Capitol and spoke with the Secretary of Transportation, and he pointed out some things, as well as General Wiggins, that I think we're overlooking a lot. Basically, most of our revenue comes from Fort Riley, 4.2 billion impact on the community. And he pointed out that during COVID, because Manhattan is basically K-State, that when COVID hit, the students didn't show up. But when COVID hit, the soldiers still got paid. So the bottom line is that we have a lot going on inside that we shouldn't be expanding out. Let's take care of what we have inside. So what we're talking about is 21st century solutions for 21st century problems. Right now, Brightspeed or Brightstar is running fiber optic down Grand Avenue. And I think that we need to start looking at those solutions of people that use that as far as companies. So you got a lot of these new server farms, you got a lot of this cloud stuff that we can use those internally with what we have. For instance, the village concept says that you have all the programmers, the guys doing that, living upstairs, working on the middle floor, and the restaurant on the bottom floor. These kind of things can take the infrastructure we have already and we can modify it or whatever. And this is going to be the future. This is where the money is going to come from. And that way we can complete our infrastructure. And then we'll have people paying taxes doing that. The EDC, as I know it right now, is going after the big stuff. So we're missing all the low hanging fruit. I think that there's an opportunity here because I don't know if y'all are familiar with the term Beltway bandits. If you look like 495 going around Washington, D.C., there's probably every company in the world there. And that's because they know that's where the money is. So our Beltway bandit is Fort Riley. So we should be catering to companies that are doing contracts out there and everything. And we can fill them in along Grand Avenue. So I think we're missing the boat and we have to look at those kinds of things. The next thing I want to say is Junction City is not giving the correct attention needed to the soldiers. Now, we're hearing that the general wants them off post or whatever, but we have a military affairs guy, and I've invited him since he's got here to come look at my spot. I run the nonprofit on Grand Avenue, and I deal directly with the soldiers and all like that. He's yet to come see me. He's too busy. So, and my point I made to him was, look, I'm not asking you for anything. I'm saying, hey, I'm a resource that can help and do it. We do it, but we can't seem to be on the same sheet of music. So if you're not concerned about that, what are you concerned about? So I'll shut up because I can go on all day, but that's what I have to say.
No,
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Any questions of me?
No.
You don't know
Thanks
what?
for all you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
good to see you again.
Good to see you, sir.
Did you get your value notice?
No.
You're not batting very good.
I did get an email.
Well, some people did get it.
Well, they say it's out there.
Yeah.
I got mine.
Well, the bad part with
People who got theirs.
Mickey is, Mickey thinks she's way up in the sky and she don't, if you try to go talk to her, you can't talk to her. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't want to get personal about that, so.
Well, I know, but still, she's there bringing stuff in here that should be up to everybody.
I pointed out in Kansas City right now, they're doing a project where they're bringing in a server farm up there. And I actually posted it online. We should be doing that. Our limitation right now is that we don't have the power infrastructure.
Right.
Why are we not programming in the future things that will make it easy to bring folks in here? The other thing is, if we do give tax abatements, let's set up the agreement to where they have to stay long enough that it becomes worthwhile. There's nothing wrong with giving them, but let's make it happen.
No, I agree.
Right, no, that's very well said.
Mhm.
Yeah, because at the end of their 10 years, they're, and they play the game.
Yep.
With other communities, that's how they do it. So. Travis,
I was just gonna say, Travis, since you missed out this morning, do you want the opportunity to kind of explain that now so
he
that,
said he couldn't
because you and I
remember.
visited
You
it
can't
out.
remember, you had it already.
It's not gonna be as well laid out as it was.
Well, you and I had visited about the fact with the, the shift kind of in the commercial, years ago. I know when Jim Runkey was here and yourself at the taxation of commercial properties and these box stores and all that has just really gotten complicated as well. And so some of those, they're making those appeals and lowering them down. So, and even with commercial not being as prevalent as it could be here in Geary County, that some of the shift of taxes has went back to, the shift has went from commercial back to residential. So some of that stuff is
Yeah.
good information.
Kind of what I was talking about, when we see the increases in valuations over the last 5 years, let's say, a lot of that's,
Amira,
is this running?
introduce yourself,
Oh, I'm Travis Lilly, 1525 Lily Road.
your title.
I'm county appraiser.
Okay.
I'm here on business. Most of that increase in valuation was on the residential side. Commercial is just not growing like our residential has. So that does create a shift, right? As those gain at a higher rate than the commercial properties do, it does shift that tax burden from the commercial side to the residential side.
How about all these, the exemptions as well, when you talk about eating up on, some of the things we used to have revenue for, the personal property and some of that stuff that we now have exemptions, some of that is, and I know as well as you do, dealing with personal property and it's a pain in the rear. But nonetheless, that erosion of our tax base has an impact on sustaining.
It does, and I think Trish, you asked me a question once. I think it's Senate Bill 10 right now. That's there's more personal property becoming exempt. There's not a whole lot left really, and we get something like, to your point, maybe. I mean, like CAMSO, right? Brought a lot of jobs and it made a $100 million investment, and it's not taxable. I mean, and that's fact. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that required a lot of input, expense wise from folks to make that happen locally, right? I mean, we didn't have to build a new road, we didn't have to build a new sewer or anything like that. But
Yeah, okay, who left? Yeah, okay, so who left? Who's the?
it was a refrigerator warehouse at one point. It was Spartan Nash.
UPU.
Oh, UPU, yeah.
Yeah.
They still have that property there. I mean, I don't know, that'll still be.
When I talked to the owner recently, I said, is it on the market? And he said, no, not yet. It will be on the market.
Yeah. And it'll sell. I mean,
Yeah.
they always do.
Hopefully do a good company.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, when, I know, Michelin and then now with this, VA center that's coming in, that one of the guys, they offered, pilot payment in lieu of taxes.
Mhm.
So do we get a portion of that?
I don't know.
Because I don't know how the city can approve somebody getting a pilot and then the
Then a
city
bill.
and the county without us being involved in that
Payment in lieu
decision.
of tax.
Right.
Some people call it PILT, some people call it pilot. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know they make a payment. I think it's twice a year. It's a set amount. It's the same every year. I don't know how that
if
gets
the county
distributed
approved
though.
that with Michelin before I got on or not, but I know they did do it last week on the VA center and the old call center, and they said that they'd be making payment in lieu of taxes. Well, do we get a portion of that? School district and the county get a portion of that? Because they never asked us if we would agree to that.
Yeah, and I don't know,
Only one built that I'm aware of that.
well, aren't they
No, this is
proposing a new one?
This is
Yeah.
for the future. Yeah, I think Michelin's the only one that does that now, but do we get a portion of that?
We do,
Okay.
right now, we have one pill that we collect and it's distributed.
Okay, so I guess if they automatically do that, then we get that portion as well. If they, last week, the city approved doing that for this VA center, and they said their motion was, involving a pilot or a pill, whatever you call it.
So that, as far as my understanding is that is how the pills work.
Okay, I didn't know. Somebody asked me and I said, well, I don't know, because I would have thought that we would have been included if it did not.
Well, I think there's a contract that says they'll pay this dollar amount in lieu of taxes. And then that dollar amount is distributed as if it would regularly be.
But we don't have a say in that. Is that what you're?
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
Exactly what you said, is
It's in the development.
we get that contract.
Yeah, but that was
Contract.
for Michelin. So,
And then-
but this one, we didn't have any, we weren't included
No,
in any of
Because
that.
the clerk
We've got
is
the
the who
agreement
makes up
for
the
Michelin.
bill, yeah.
But, this.
Were we at the table when they decided on that? Michelin, I don't think so.
No, I think it was EDC.
So I don't know how that works for sure.
Yeah.
Who
and-
gets to decide how much that payment is and
Yeah, because it was,
for how long?
they did $40,000 in lieu of payment for the call center.
And I know, the Michelin plant was basically the last tax bill that property got before they bought it and took over.
Yeah.
They pay that same amount.
Well,
That's-
I would think that the city would have to get with us, this county and the school district as far as.
Kind of like.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think that they have some rights,
Oh.
or they don't have to, and like a star bond, for instance.
Sure.
They can issue those star bonds and the county doesn't have to have any part in that at all.
And,
They
and
just have to.
Well, that's why I was
basically
asking. I didn't know how
administer
that
it.
worked.
yeah, and like on, we just got an application for the next phase for Michelin this morning. And it's exempt. We continue to appraise it as though, we appraise those improvements. The assessed value is zero though at the end of the day, so it doesn't lead to a tax bill. They pay that in lieu of it. So, I don't know. The rights and who gets to decide. And I don't know that. We get packets, we send it to the board for, exemption when they do those big projects like that.
We might need legal to get some of that information for us to make
Yeah.
sure we know.
Travis, you were in here, the public doesn't know this, but you were in here earlier this morning to explain something about the surveys going out with the value notices. And obviously, we had technical issues.
Yeah.
And could you briefly explain what happened?
Yeah, so, well, if you got the return envelope, you noticed, Della Rowley, Mrs. Rowley's name on there, and I want to apologize to her, if she's watching. I called her, but, yeah, we still don't, and I still don't have an answer on how that happened. But some of the comments I was shown were folks, kind of misunderstanding that values went up again. And there was this perception that maybe that survey was, well, then how do you want us to spend the extra money? And that's not at all
Right.
what that was intended to be.
That word, that the discretionary expenditure is what threw, people think,
Yeah.
well, that's the extra money, give it back.
Right, and
There's
I
extra
think
money,
that
which-
discretionary caught them as, well,
Yes,
now that we
right.
have this,
Right.
and that's just not the case. And again, we set the values, kind of talked about this morning, but we set the values, and then you guys develop a budget, and we do some math, and that generates the mill levy that you apply against that value to fund this budget. And so what you got was your value notice, which is step one of that, and some questions about how you want the commission to develop step two. I think it's important to fill those out, get them back to the commissioners. We can steer you in that direction, but yeah, it's not at all how do we spend the extra money. with any luck, the mill levy will go down to offset the increase in values and the taxes will stay somewhat the same. So we'll see what needs to be funded and that's the next step, so.
And then it just is a good reminder is to let people understand that we only set the county taxes, not the city.
Oh, yeah.
School.
Yeah, and so if you, I guess I'm talking to the owl, but if anyone's watching and got but the questionnaires were for the county, right? How do you want the county commission when they're doing the county budget? And how do you want them to spend those dollars? So think of county functions.
Some
And then-
people are very cloudy on what that, because I mean, some of the comments on, Facebook were, you need to fix the roads.
Yeah,
That's the city.
And there's the link.
Now, we have some roads we have to fix.
Yeah, but there's the link at the top of that form we put on there, and that'll take you to the budget page that shows you all those line
Yes.
items, so you can see what the county provides and.
Yeah.
But you can take those same questions, and answer them on behalf of the city and take them to the city, on behalf of the
Sure.
school and take them to the school.
Yeah.
Get engaged, involved. Civics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the discretionary funds is more, if I recall, is more with our appropriations.
I'm not the expert on that, at all, but yeah,
So I don't know if they're talking
Yeah.
like the 8T8 bus and some of those that aren't levied,
Right.
So.
Well, and discretionary funds could be, our over budget in our sales tax too. I mean, that could be in discretionary monies. Maybe not next year with everybody gone, but.
Speaking of sales tax, no, I think we were all CC'd on an email from a constituent in town. And the email was sent to Representative Butler about food tax and the
Oh, I don't
state.
think I got that.
Was it- I think it was yesterday.
Came yesterday? Let me look.
And anyway, wanting to know why, the state's doing away with food sales tax. And yet counties can still keep it. And didn't think it was, if I read it right, didn't think it was fair that counties can still get it.
just forwarded it to you.
Well, does he want his, I mean, people don't understand that some of those, I mean, the city has it for debt, we have it, part of it for our hospital. If we don't get it from sales tax, we have to put it on our property tax owners.
That's where I was headed.
Yeah.
So it's just, if that was the case, it'd be another burden on property tax.
Well,
So,
and even unfunded mandates, right? So like motor vehicle is a perfect example. So motor vehicle is being funded with
county money.
with ad valorem tax, but also sales tax that goes to the general is part of what funds that.
And yet,
I
the
mean,
state
and
wants
that's
the
just
motor
one.
vehicle to do their work for them.
Right, the LABTR that they did away with, we've lost out on those monies, but we still have to figure out a way to take care of the county needs. So sales tax helps supplement all of those things that the state is telling us we have to do, that we don't get a revenue in order to do it, or not enough of a revenue to do it. So sales tax goes way beyond just, the surface level.
when even everything, like with Senate Bill 10, everything that they exempt is the loss of revenue for the county. It's something you can't tax anymore, so you have to, it's not like you can't provide services, you have to shift that to something that is taxable.
Right.
And everything seems to
And
shift.
you're right. That gap's getting smaller and smaller.
Death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Yeah. Well, Travis, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Hoping
that
someone, you guys
explains.
don't have any questions about it? You didn't get them, dang it.
Yeah, I decided, I gave her a copy of one.
Come
back next week.
You should.
Come back next week.
Yeah, I guess I'll be in next week and see if the crowds are here, but.
You gonna have them fixed by next week?
Well, I bet you have it today. I got mine on Saturday. Some people got them on Friday.
You don't know how the mail is. We
Yeah,
had
oh, yeah.
an election that they got it 2 days after we mailed it, and we had some that got it 2 weeks after.
You're right.
I had someone send me a picture on Friday and they hit the mail on Friday, so I don't know how if they work at the post office or what, but.
I think it gets tore up in Kansas City when it gets there, then it can't get out of there.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, I sometimes have to you have to repeat it because, you know, that stuff, it's a complicated process and, you know, so many people, you know, don't understand it, nor necessarily should they. But on the other hand, you know, I've talked time and time again with you that, you know, we need to continue to get that information out to people in layman's terms so they can understand the process. Because it is complicated.
Yeah. And I guess, and this probably goes without saying, but if in the future, near future probably, but if somebody comes in with a question about that and I'm not here, do call me. I'd love to.
Because you are the
I'd like to
person,
answer the question,
Right.
because probably are asking a question that a lot of people are thinking. And it's hard for me to pick and choose what to talk about when there's just, there's a
Because a
thousand
lot of
things
times-
you could pick, right? And
A
so
lot of
what's
times we get
important?
the heat, and it's not that you should, but you could just explain it in a better way that it's, you know, I generally know, but you have a way to make it more understandable and put it in layman's terms, I think, for
Yeah.
people to understand. I wish there was, and a lot of, we've got information, you know, with how your taxes determined and everything, but, you know, still, you know, how do you get to the assessed value to make it your, you know, your assessed value and your appraised value, you know, people don't, you know.
Sure. Yeah, and I did make the example this morning, and you guys as taxpayers, what was, you know, if somehow I was able to cut every value in the county in half, right? Would you expect the tax bill to get cut in half? And the answer is no, right? Because there's still a budget that has to be funded. So what would likely happen would be the mill levy would increase to offset that, right? So the values are kind of this standalone thing that we develop and we send out, and our attempt is to value things at their market value. Then there's a responsible budget that's developed and that's implemented, and then the mill levy is the result of, you know, what does it take to take this value to fund this budget, right? And that's
Well, and we talked about that, you know, when we had that issue with the 300% jump in our personal property.
Mhm.
You can't have two mill levies. And evidently, you know, that's, you know, but the state is driving that.
Yeah.
So why isn't the county reaching out to the state to try and get
Oh,
that doesn't make sense.
We talk to them every time they're here about this unfunded
Yeah.
mandate stuff. In fact, I'm going to a thing on Thursday and I'm gonna have the ear of several legislators and that will be one of the things I talk to them about.
Yeah.
They're gonna get to know Geary County very well.
Right.
And they should.
Well, they need to,
We got
if
some
you
awful
don't.
big projects gonna probably come up, and they're gonna be serious.
But Travis,
Jail
you
and
also
stuff, that's
talked
gonna be
about
expensive.
the 3-year, you know, values, you know, and.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and what's gonna
That's a
happen.
good one.
You know, values, you know, are 3 years and then they're gonna start tapering back down. And I think when they start tapering back down, those mill levies stay the same or go up, that's when we're gonna see more.
So we're
significant
behind,
changes.
right? We use 3 years of sales in our analysis. And I think that's a common question we get is, you know, we've seen the market kind of plateau, right? The sales prices aren't coming down yet, I don't think, but they're still high. And so using 3 years of sales, for instance, we used 2022, 3, and 4 in our analysis this year. So if I know that sales this year are about the same as they were last year, how would our value go up, right? Well, it's because we lost 2021 this year, which was one of the years we used last year. And that was, although higher than it was the year prior to it, lower than where we're at now. So even though between 23 and 24, or 24 and 25 values may not be changing that much, it's all about this data that we're using being so old. When we drop one off, we just lost 2021, which is lower than, you know, we thought 2021 was bad and we just hadn't seen 22, 3, or 4 yet. So that's one of those things where we lag the market because we're using older sales than like a realtor would use or something like that. And it's because we do mass appraisal, right? We have to value every single thing every year. And in order to find enough sales to value them all, we have to use a larger set of data. So we'll always lag the market. It becomes a problem if the market starts to come back down. We will stay higher for a little bit because again, we'll have historic years of higher values before those will start to fall off, and we'll trend that market downwards. So it's a challenge. You know, when we're lagging behind, when it's on the way up, folks are usually happy. Not so much when it happens to go the other way, right? Because we lag again. Yeah, that's a challenge with mass appraisal and what we do.
I'm curious, is the sheriff's department, is it the biggest expense for the county?
Biggest departmental expense, yes.
And I have talked to Sheriff Beckman, and I think there are many efficiencies we can find there.
Well, do we really need to handle that many people? Can't we? Is it cheaper, farm it out?
Oh,
to-
no, it's very
No,
expensive to
is
farm
it?
it out.
Okay.
Mhm. Very expensive.
Farm out the
And
prisoners. You,
Well, not all of them, but
I
I'm
don't know
just
why
saying,
we don't
a
take
certain
more in, because
percentage.
that was a sizable income for years.
Because we can't keep the people.
the hope was that when the last
I
jail
thought he was
expansion
up
was
to-
that we would get inmates
Well, that's
from
what
other
it was planned when they built that, is to house other inmates to pay for it.
Mhm.
out of
That's what the
county.
concept was, but, and that's
Well,
what,
there's been some operational issues over there, and I think that Sheriff Beckman is addressing that, so maybe in the future, that can happen.
And I think this feasibility study, I guess, for better justice planners, I think there's gonna be a lot come out of that. So.
Yep.
Well, Travis, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
thanks, Travis.
Appreciate the
Told
opportunity.
you what
I'll be here every week, to talk taxpayer concerns.
Okay, thank you.
12 o'clock.
Thank you. We'll see.
Didn't get those yet.
You good, Carol?
You get them.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it takes them a week longer.
I'll put a big
Here's
smile on his face on
one
it.
change order.
Oh, I didn't see it.
No, Kathy gave me.
Keith, on the 19th, I think, is the juvenile detention board.
You have that back, because we'll get one.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
On the juvenile detention board, they've been canceled the last two
Because of what?
months because of weather. And I would have been able to make it. I was putting stuff on my calendar last night, and I think I told you my first meeting, we'll be in Branson. We're gonna be, that's spring break, so we're gonna leave on Sunday. So would you mind filling in for me on the 19th? They said that that's the day they do their elections and stuff, so do we need to be present for that anyway?
Well, it's a governing board, we should not miss that meeting.
Yeah.
For the-
Change order.
I guess, we vote, that's true, yeah.
Change order.
So can you look at your
Yeah,
calendar, please?
yeah.
That's the 19th at 10 o'clock, and it's in,
Okay.
no, it's, maybe, it's in Pot County, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk to Angela.
Make a motion to accept the change orders.
I think we all three just sign on that same line.
Yeah, I was just looking, I always like to look at them because I like to
Oh,
look at
okay.
the change orders, to see why they're changed, but like with, I'm not sure why all these hangers, this is happening with these hangers again.
Oh.
I don't think, according to Steve, a lot of,
Appraiser's office.
yeah, I know, and I don't think that, those, hangers out there, didn't think they'd changed that much. Sometimes it doesn't make sense if we don't know what they are, and we just sign them. I like to look at them.
Well, now that you signed it, you want to second the motion?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Oh, good.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And here's these, I apologize, where's that other one at? You have it.
Okay, now I got minutes for the 24th. Trish said looks good. He had,
I couldn't remember whether I called the meeting to order.
with the new employees in there.
Does anybody remember?
We had started before we called the meeting to order, she was just introducing
So
themselves.
I hadn't called it to order. That's fine.
Yeah, no, it was after.
I didn't.
Yeah, because they were just naming, we were trying to get the computer thing up and.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just some grammatical,
Keith,
And
there's
some grammatical changes.
I've already signed it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you come
Did you read
I
the
came
minutes,
in yesterday.
Casey?
Yes, out there. Yeah, at our meeting.
All right, can somebody move to approve them, please?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes for, was it February 24th?
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Betsy, you got anything for us? I never got to ask you.
I don't think so.
Well, anybody else got anything?
Does the county attorney ever come in and give any type of a report ever?
No.
No, only,
Just why? No.
only in the department head meetings.
It depends, sometimes like, I know she had a trial last time, so she couldn't come, but, I mean, if you want her to, she can.
Well, I just think, I'd like to hear what's, we get those reports, how many that they do or whatever, and all that other stuff, and around that way, it affects the jail and who's going through
I
the
can, I
jail.
can reach out to her, and you wanna do it quarterly?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah. I mean, she doesn't necessarily, somebody could give a report. I mean, the jail numbers and stuff are given to us by clerks, so
Okay. I'll do it.
I was just looking at this late fees on.
Yeah, and that's why we talked about going with ACH, trying to get more ACH. So we would avoid that.
Yeah, that is,
I just need you, this isn't a motion or anything. We're gonna send out the beer license to the township board.
Oh, okay.
You have to sign that first, and then I'll bring it to the meeting after they approve.
So go ahead and sign.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Betsy, I would have brought it over to you.
Oh,
I
no
always thought
problem.
I was the last guy on the totem pole that signed, so didn't even
No
pay
problem.
attention to who.
Thank you.
Okay, meeting's adjourned.
Thanks.
Teresa, I'd mentioned to you as well about old business, or we, it seems like
Oh,
we move
yeah.
on and then I have to look back and see what we did on the other stuff. Is it just being changed or we, I don't know, sometimes I forget what action,
Yeah,
if
she was
nothing was
asking
done, we
about
talk
that,
about
and
it.
I just said
I don't
that she could.
understand.
Well,
business,
like
we
the
just,
city, I think, or like White City, we have an old business. and
Oh.
We talk about what was brought up.
Before.
Yeah. And she asked about doing that, and I said, well, I thought she could do it during her review time, but then she said, if you don't remember what what we're gonna talk about, then that makes it kind of bad now.
Yeah, well, especially if we're gonna vote on something, it definitely needs to be like listed,
Yeah,
but
and most of
I
the time you will tell me, put on the agenda. blah,
put
blah,
on
blah.
something, yeah.
I mean, like, Dykster's been here 4 or 5 times. And, that to me is old business, but, we keep hearing the same thing and then.
Well, and I've kind of said that too. Rick, he wanted everybody to know what was going on before we had a director. And I would hope that Raquel is not gonna do that.
Well, she still needs to do a report, but
Yeah,
not
but
monthly or
Not
every other
every
week.
week, yeah.
Oh, well,
She's monthly, right?
They're supposed to be, yeah.
Commissioner Tremont, did you have a question about a late fee that I can answer for you?
Oh, no, it wasn't much. I just, that just prompted my question about, the county attorney. When I looked at it, it had just a little bit of a late fee on there, which, and then I just said, just prompted me to think, do we ever hear from her? And so I just, because
Occasionally, we do not get our bills to us in a timely manner, and there are fees that have to be paid, but, like you said, Commissioner Asher, we went away from paper checks and doing a lot of the ACHs, which has helped tremendously, but occasionally, we get one that can get turned in, and we have to pay that late fee, unfortunately. We have made changes on, like all the utility ones, and especially Next Tech, because if you don't get those paid on time, you get like a 10%, which can be rather steep. So we pay all of those
All
by,
right, people. I gotta get out of
immediately with the
here.
bank account, as soon as we get the bills, so we have that turnaround time, and then do it as a wire.
That was the, okay, I was gonna
So-
say, I can't do
But
that.
anytime you have a question, just run by and we can answer it for you too. Only one book this time, so that's much better, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
We like it when there's not so many.
yeah.
Hopefully,
what-
January is the only time you're gonna see kind of a big thing because of the
All of them.
13th month and change.
KDOT, that's that project they're doing, on the,
We spent money.
and they're proposing a little bit of taking. And that's that project that, you know, put that clause, Mr. Rogers is for.
This is what they're offering. Okay, have you got?
So I'm gonna check with, Jeremy too, to make sure that.
Oh, fine,
5.29.
I put it on.
4,000.
What?
Well, the price per acre sounds
Yes.
good.
No shit.
Well, I say that because it was pasture land sold in Riley County. Well, some of it's in Geary County too.